everyone right now, of course, is looking at ways to save money on energy bills, if only. Well, today, the National Grid's Demand Flexibility Scheme has been launched. Anybody who signed up will get discounts on their bills if they do simple things like delay using the oven until after the specified time. Well, it's just got underway at 5 o'clock this afternoon, and it's going to go on until 6, with 26 energy providers across the country taking part. Here's the BBC's Kevin Peachy with the details.
Ultimately, this is the most immediate one, which is up to 1 million households in England, Wales and Scotland who are being paid to delay their electricity use. So when they get home tonight, between 5 and 6 o'clock, maybe they won't put on their washing machine, won't put on the oven. The idea is that it reduces that energy use during those peak times, so they'll actually use those things later on. These are households which have already signed up to the scheme, but it's being used in earnest for the first time today. Clearly, the thinking behind it is that it avoids these blackouts, but I think this is very much a cautious approach from the authorities, who are saying, you know, this is the first time we're going to use it. There is no risk at the moment, and consumers can receive about £20 off by their bills for taking part.
Kevin Peachy reporting. So that started 11 minutes and 5 seconds ago, and it goes on until 6 o'clock this evening. As you heard, about 1 million people taking part in that. To add to that, a similar localised scheme is due to be trialled here in Bristol until March. To tell us more about it, here's the CEO of equiwatt, Dr. Johnson Fernandes. Hi, Johnson. Tell us what equiwatt is.
Hi there. Yeah, equiwatt is an energy management app that it's free to consumers. It enables them to participate in peak time energy events like the ones run by the National Grid and get rewarded for doing so. So up to £20 per event is available. Typically, users get paid between £3 to £6 per event. And the app makes it really easy. So the primary thing for consumers to do is to register the smart meter, for example, in the app, respond to peak time event notifications, and that's it.
And what about the Bristol scheme? Is that different, or will it operate in the same way?
Yeah, so we're running localized trials as well. So the trial that we're working on is called Project Leo. It's one of UK's most ambitious and innovative trials, where we are looking at supporting the distribution network operator, for example, who manages the overhead lines, the transformers and substations, to manage peak time strain on those, localized points in the network. For example, I mean, it's like as we are transitioning to electrification of heat, meaning transitioning to more and more electric heating, such as heat pumps, as we are transitioning to electric cars, certain points in the local grid won't be able to handle that surge in demand of, say, 100 cars charging in a neighborhood, for example. So in that case, which is considered as a peak time event, there are incentives available to residents in Bristol, whereby by supporting reducing those peak time usage by turning off their high energy intensive appliances such as washing machines, or delaying the usage, for example, or pausing the electric car charging, they get rewards.
Is the hope that everybody will at some point get involved in this? I mean, 1 million people involved in the current system, which is happening for this hour between 5 and 6 of reduced energy use. I mean, is it a good habit to get into in general as a nation to do this?
Certainly. So this is the next generation of energy usage, really. It's a monumental shift to how consumers can, use their energy usage, shape their demand profile in such a way that it benefits their pockets, the environment, as well as the energy network. So particularly this winter, right? Because of the cold winter, the energy crisis in terms of shortage of electricity supplies, it gets really hard. And historically, the grid's solution to that is by having standby power plants. For example, just this week, coal power plants had to be put on standby. Certainly for the future, for us to actually reach our net zero targets and for us to be more and more energy efficient, we don't want to be relying on these dirty polluting power plants, right? And the innovation and the service that the National Grid and companies like us, equiwatt, what we are enabling is flexibility of energy usage. That flexibility can it's not just at peak times; it can be at off-peak times as well. And that movement is just going to be the norm in the years to come.
Okay, really good to talk to you. Thank you for just explaining that to us. If you want to get involved in it, you can download the app, equiwatt. I'll spell that for you. So EQUIWATT, as in watt, WATT, equiwatt. You heard Dr. Johnson Fernandes, who's the CEO of that particular app, telling us about the energy saving scheme to be trialled in Bristol. And today, the National Grid has launched its demand flexibility service, which aims to just encourage customers to use energy at off-peak times. They get paid a little more for doing it, as in like money off their bill, to limit the strain on supply and avoid the risk of blackouts. National Grid say this doesn't mean that electricity supplies are at risk and people should not worry. It's one of those things where I think it's to do with habit, isn't it? You know, trying to use less, especially at peak times, isn't the worst kind of habit to get into, is it? And also, if you go to that app, it'll just kind of show you how much, what things are happening at that moment, very locally, in terms of how many, I don't know, dishwashers are being used, how many cars are being charged using electricity at that time. So it's just quite an interesting thing. It's slightly nerdy, but it might be something that you would get into, to be honest.